Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
This is gonna be good.
Oh! I'm Batman.
You are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
I do say that all seemed rather rehearsed.
You're really weird. It's just something I do.
Not anymore. We're going to take charge of this thing.
We have many things to talk about, even in this backward place.
It's showtime.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. We got a super fun stream planned for you all tonight. We are running through Tim Burton's entire filmography. Huck, are you ready for this?
I am ready for some Tim Burton filmography. Let's go. I've watched every single one, Mike. I did not shortchange this one. Did you?
So I got through most of them. The only one I couldn't find for a rewatch. No, I've seen them all before. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I've seen them all before. I wanted to rewatch Big Fish the other night, and I remembered seeing it on Max like a year or two ago on streaming. But we know how streaming is. I go back to check it, gone. Nowhere to be found on streaming. So that was a rewatch I wanted to get back to, but couldn't get to it. But I've seen everything at least once. I've seen most of these like 4 or 5 or 6 times by now. I mean, Batman, I've seen plenty. So
it's funny that you say Big Fish, Mike, because that was literally the last one. And that was a rewatch for me, but I saw it originally, so I forgot the whole thing. So it's like a brand new thing. And I did pay the rental. I just paid the $4 to rent it because, you know, I wanted to be thorough. So
hey, that's the way to do it. But yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good. I felt like I got through everything and I planned ahead. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is going to be a whole month of just Tim Burton watching. So I kind of spaced it out a little bit. So
my wife's probably sick of seeing all the Tim Burton stuff. It's like, are we doing another Tim Burton movie? I'm like, yeah, one more.
All right. So audience out there. So let me kind of run down the structure of tonight's show. We're going to go through all of Tim Burton's films, starting with the first one all the way up to the most recent. We'll share our quick thoughts on it, give you maybe a recommendation or two with it. And then we'll go into our individual rankings. And then we'll give you the Collectors Club certified ranking with even Derek's and Tim's score thrown in there to really crunch the numbers to get the true definitive film ranking. Yes. So yeah, that's going to be super fun. Unfortunately, Tim and Derek could not be here tonight, but it's going to be a great time. And let's get into these comments. We got an awesome audience here tonight already. Let's see who's here. We got Adrian saying, hello there, Mike. Hello, Adrian. You are first place again, Adrian. Thank you for always being
here.
See you
tomorrow morning.
I know. Adrian just is everywhere at the perfect time, right? Lance Jackson, the movie fan. What's up, Mike? Cool panel you have tonight. My favorite Tim Burton movies are Miss Peregrine and James and the Giant Peach and Edward Scissorhands. So we won't be talking James and the Giant Peach. I'm wondering, did he produce that one or write it? He definitely didn't direct it, though. So we're only talking about directed Tim Burton films. So Nightmare Before Christmas won't be showing up on here. Even though everybody thinks he directed it, he did not. So that will not be here. Let's see. We got Tiana saying, hey, everyone. Hey, Tiana, how you doing tonight? I got Craig saying hello. Hey, Craig. Got Tiana. I'm ready for some Tim Burton films. Well, thank you so much. We are ready to let you know our thoughts on these. We got Lance Jackson saying, hey, 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 Tiana. Happy Monday. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Let's see. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. Tiana saying Corpse Bride needs more love. Well, we'll definitely get to that one. So let's bring up some banners here just to remind you guys. So I'm going to need your guys' help tonight. Go ahead and batarang that like and subscribe. Support the channel if you love movies by giving us big eyes with super chats. And then become a big fish with those memberships for exclusive perks, like choosing live stream topics. So if you want to see a future director's filmography, all you got to do is become a Mega Movie Master, and then you get to choose one every month. So there you go. And don't sleep on the merch. Thank you all. So, yeah, let's have a fun
night. The pun master, sir. The pun master.
Of course. So first up, we got to get into Pee-wee's Big Adventure 1985, where it all started. Huck, I'll let you go first on this one, because this was a first-time watch for me.
Was it?
Yeah. But Huck,
All right.
what do you think of
Now,
this one?
now
I'm
as we
back
dive
to the-
in, what is the number count you came up with? I feel like, was it 19 or 20?
I got 19.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I think earlier you had said 20. I'm like, did I? Are we counting Wednesday as a movie because it was on Netflix? But okay, good. So we have the same number. Pee-wee, man, look, I grew up seeing this in the theater. I think it was there when I was working at the theater, and I mean the whole thing. I know you are, but what am I? I mean, great clip at the beginning. I'm trying to use the phone. And all the guys. It's like,
It's so
and I
good.
rewatched that because it had been a while since I saw it. I had to buy the box set to get that because I think it's hard to find the blue standalone Blu-ray. And it was funny. Like, even my wife was like laughing, and she's like, "Wow, this thing really holds up." So, for me, yeah, I mean, it was like, it was really my introduction to Pee Wee. I'd heard of Pee Wee, but I didn't watch Pee Wee's Playhouse or anything like that. So yeah, for me, it was super funny, and a lot of those things, like, I know you are, but what am I? I think, if I'm correct, originated with that film. I think that was something he
Oh,
made.
wow. I did not know that. That
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing. I'm so glad you talked this movie up, Huck, because I never seen it before, first time watch, and it was awesome. It was such a delight, much better than the new Netflix streaming one. That one did not do Pee-wee justice.
No.
This one definitely did it. It was so funny. All the scenes you mentioned, absolutely hilarious. You even got those like Hollywood scenes where he's like going through a set and there's like a Godzilla fight going on.
Yeah.
with
He's in
Ghidorah
the
and all that.
studio. Oh man,
Oh
each
my
set was
God.
hilarious. Like,
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
and
And I
it's all
mean,
about his bike. I'm a
all
rebel
about
guy.
the bike. He wants his bike back. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But you know what's funny about Pee-wee is he seems like a very fragile person, but when it comes to his bike, he's kind of a badass. Like when he accuses the guy in the bathtub for stealing it, he just jumps him, man. And
Oh,
I'm like, oh. So I appreciated that he wasn't one note. Like when Pee-wee gets pissed that you took his bike, he becomes an
yeah.
animal. And
You don't mess with Pee-wee's bike. We learned that.
and we all know about Tell Him Large Marge sent you. Remember Large
Wow.
Marge?
Such a fun movie. Oh my goodness. So very happy I watched this one. This is definitely one that will get rewatches for me in the future. Just when I want like a casual comedy movie to throw on. Now we got Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So
Good.
very happy. But I had to buy that set too, Huck. I had to get that
Oh,
set.
yeah?
to add it,
Nice.
so.
It's a good set.
All right, now let's get into the movie. Well, you're rocking on the shirt right there.
Showtime.
Got some Beetlejuice action, 1988. So I know you're a massive Beetlejuice fan, Huck. I mean, I'm sure you got some Beetlejuice decorations, right, and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, it's funny. I do like Beetlejuice merch. I have signs. I even have like the Book of the Dead back there. It's funny though, like I still get like crazier with the Killer Clowns merch. I don't know why. Like, I've only seen that movie like twice, and I just think it's okay. But I love the merch. But yeah, I do love Beetlejuice merch. Fun. I mean, here I'll let you start. We'll tag. How about we go back and forth? I'll let you start with Beetlejuice.
absolutely, yeah, Beetlejuice. This is one I remember from my childhood. It's just so wacky, and it's a very dark film when you really look at it. I remember that intro scene where it's like, okay, they swerve out of the way to not hit the dog, and then their car's hanging off, and then the car lands in there, and at first you're like, okay, did they get out of it, right? Because they come back home, but then you realize they start seeing things. They don't see themselves in the mirror. They see the book for, the handbook of the dead people or whatever it's called. And wow, you're just like, okay, our main characters here are dead.
Yeah.
That was unique to me as a kid. I'm like, okay, this is kind of a dark movie here, but it doesn't take itself seriously at all. I mean, the musical soundtrack that Tim Burton goes with,
it's so good.
so memorable. I don't know if anybody would know those songs today without this Beetlejuice movie. That's just how much these songs go with the movie. So it's a fun movie. I love the creepy imagery with it too. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Oh my gosh, he is great in the role. He has such an enthusiasm about him. It just leaps off a screen. I just love everything about this movie. I love the lore behind it. I love when they go into the other world and they have to try to get advice on how to scare these people out of their house. You got a little young Winona Ryder in there. I mean, the whole cast is great in this movie. Catherine O'Hara's in there, right? And just
Catherine O'Hara,
so
Jeffrey
many people.
Jones.
Mhm.
Oh, that's another thing too, Mike, is having rewatched everything, so many of these people that he uses are in many of his movies.
Yeah.
Not just two. Like, and we'll get into it, but there are actors who appear in at least 3 or 4 of his films.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works with directors. They'll just latch on to certain actors and they'll keep using them in future movies. But Huck, tell me about your love for Beetlejuice here.
Well, it's funny when I first saw it. Okay, here's the thing that I love about Beetlejuice is it established what I feel Tim Burton is known for, and that is atmosphere and style. You know, he comes from an animation background, and while Pee-wee was very stylish and it had some of those funny moments, like maybe the large Marge when she goes and her face comes out at you. I mean, that was a little animated, very Burton-esque. But this one really sort of sets that tone, like everything you see from Burton is going to have a certain something, little secret sauce of that Burton sauce. And I feel it started with Beetlejuice. And just, and I don't even know, like Keaton's probably in less than 20 minutes of that movie, honestly, because it's more about the couple. But boy, when he shows up and he's like, say my name, babe, and he comes out, he's always, you can't take your eyes off of him. He's just captivating to watch. And, yeah, I think it's got great staying power, Beetlejuice. I rewatched it again with my daughter. I always try to test things that I liked with her, and she liked it. I'm like, okay, score on that. So, yeah, I really love Beetlejuice.
I mean, it keeps up so well to today. It's like you can show it to anybody. They're going to love this movie. And initially, you may not think of it because, it's so creepy and it's so weird and bizarre and takes so many different that normally you wouldn't think pair well together. But it totally does. It's totally that Tim Burton magic you mentioned. So
yeah, and the song, when they say Deo, and then I get all possessed. Deo. I mean, I love that scene. And then Catherine O'Hara, when she's doing the head, I'm like, oh my god, I love her in that. She's so good.
And then they end it too with dancing as well, and Winona Ryder's all floaty. Like, what's going on here? But it's awesome. You don't even care because it's so cool.
Right on.
All right, well, this is my shirt now, Batman 1989.
Yep.
So, Huck, back to you on Batman.
Again, here we go. So Batman 89 comes out. Super controversial because they picked Michael Keaton, who at the time was known for like Beetlejuice,
Mr. Mom,
and Mr. Mom, Night Shift, all those comedies. But he also did one just before this called Clean and Sober, which really showed his acting chops. So Burton knew that he could do range. And he was just pitch perfect. He has those fantastic eyebrows. Like Tim Burton's got like him and Jack Nicholson have some of the best set of eyebrows, and maybe Christian Slater as well. I got that. And the hype behind this thing, man. Like, so for me, when I went to the theater, and they showed the trailer, it was like an advanced trailer that they cranked out at Christmas really fast because fans were losing their mind. Oh my God, boo, and it came out. It was even an unfinished trailer. Like the audio hadn't been sweetened yet. It was like sort of the raw audio from the set. I remember it so vividly, but it was stunning. Like seeing that Batmobile like that and seeing Keaton in the suit and the fight stuff. I'm like, and then of course the Joker. And I love the reveal of Jack as Joker when he comes out, pulls the head off. You can call me Joker. And then he just starts shooting like a crazy man. And then you get the whole reading the newspaper and, eyebrows, wing freak terrorizes. Like, I just love how Burton photographed Joker, So, and it lived up to the hype for me. Like, I was super excited to see that. I thought it was a different I'm also a fan of the Adam West stuff, the Bright Knight versus the Dark Knight. So it was fun to see this thing become a $250 million domestic smash hit. Logos everywhere, shirts, mugs, the works.
People were in lines to get into the movie theaters, right? Like we haven't seen that in a while. Nowadays I just go up, I go to the theater, and I'm
there's no more lines. Yeah, there's no more lines. So, what was your experience when you saw? Because I don't know if you saw it in the theater or not.
No, definitely not. I was not alive. I was definitely not alive yet. I know, right? So I saw it on home video. I'm trying to think. it might have been one of the very first box sets I picked up, and it was at Best Buy when they actually had movies there, and you could walk down
Yeah,
these
yeah.
aisles. They had these amazing box sets of different franchises out there. And I saw, ooh, a Batman one. I like superheroes. Why not? Let me pick up this whole anthology franchise here. And then that's when I watched it on home video, DVD for the first time. I still have that box set too. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
But it was
Wait, the
great.
box set DVD or did I miss
DVD.
it? Okay.
DVD, yeah. But it was great. It was absolutely great. Michael Keaton was an awesome Batman, but you're right. Jack Nicholson was something else. Totally stole the show.
Yeah.
Perfect Joker kind of villain. Had so many Joker moments. Like when he says, that he has that meeting with the mob bosses, and he's like,
Yeah.
well, we'll just shake hands, and that will be it. And he has
Yeah.
it's gonna be a hot time and a cold town tonight, right? He's getting fried. Like
Right.
so many great Joker moments when they go to the art gallery and they're just dancing with the
Dance.
Prince music, right? The
Yeah.
Prince music in there,
Cracking
and
you
he's
up.
like, "Oh, not that one, Bob. I kind of like that one."
Yeah, yeah. Hold it. Yeah. yeah. Good
Just
old
so
Bob.
I know. Oh, Bob was a great henchman too, and then he just offs Bob at the end, just
Yeah,
like
but he felt
randomly.
that. He goes, gonna need a minute, boys. Just to take time.
Had
Yeah.
so many good lines. Like, where does he get those wonderful toys? Just the best absolute lines ever. So yeah, even though Keaton was a great Batman, I mean, Joker totally was the star there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Jack even got top billing, Reminded me of like Superman when Christopher Reeve was third billing under Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando because they were the bigger actors
Yeah.
to get people in. I'm sure Burton they figured if we can get Jack, then people will forget about Keaton and come, and then they'll love Keaton when they come. So
such a fun movie, and you got to see the Bruce Wayne side of it. That's also what I like
he was a
about Michael
great Bruce
Keaton.
Wayne.
A great Bruce Wayne. So you got to see that side of it. The dynamics with Alfred and all of that.
Yeah.
Vicky Vale, and it's so good. It just worked perfect. The Danny Elfman score,
Oh,
one of the most
that's a great
memorable
score.
scores of all time, and that's something I love about the Tim Burton films. Always getting that Danny Elfman music
Great
in there.
scores.
Oh,
It-
so
it's like
good.
it's like Spielberg and Williams, they're a combo. And it's funny because the score was so good that it played into Batman the Animated Series, so that he made that. And then as you know, he also did the score for what TV show? Superhero?
I'm terrible with TV
The
shows.
Flash. He did the 1991
Mhm.
with John Wesley Shipp. The one-
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And when
yes.
you play it, I even
Mhm.
thought, I'm like, is that the Batman theme? Like, he didn't tweak it very hard. Like, it sounds just like Batman. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. But it's good, So
Yeah, I mean, it makes the show even better. So, of
Yeah.
course,
yeah.
yeah, Batman 1989, a masterpiece. No more needs to be said.
That's right.
All right, Edward Scissorhands here. So let me start on this one, right?
Yeah.
1990. I'm trying to think. Well, I still wasn't alive yet, so no way I could see this.
You and the
Um,
using the not alive thing.
Yeah, but of course I watched it later on. I don't know if it might have been on TV. I think it was probably a TV watch for me.
Yeah.
This movie was so creepy too. I mean, totally a Tim Burton film where you got Johnny Depp as Edward Scissorhands, and I think he's great in the role. Just I don't know, that look to him, and then his hands are all so creepy, and it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's a tough start of a movie too. It's pretty tragic how everything goes, and he doesn't get his regular hands, so he's stuck with the scissors. But there's some kind of charm about it. It's a holiday film too, when he's doing like the ice sculptures and all of that. I love that, like the ice sculpture scenes and then the
Oh,
snow
yeah.
that's falling. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and he does the landscaping too with all the different
Right.
plants, making
And
them
the
all cool.
hairdos on the ladies.
Oh, mhm. Oh, yeah, even with like the little dogs too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yeah, I like this one. Wait, is Winona Ryder in here too?
Yes,
Is that-
that's
yes.
Winona
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, I like this one. It's just, and I didn't get a chance to rewatch this one either, but I think I saw it about a year ago because that's when I picked up the Blu-ray. But yeah, it was great. I liked it. I liked the music in it. I like how it was different and wacky, and it's just kind of intriguing story too. Like to see how Edward Scissorhands like got into that community, but then the community turned on him, and then it was like a mob mentality, and then they were all after him, and then that part was so sad because the people set him up and everything. They could have turned the handle on the door, and I was like, no, what's going on? So it has some twists and turns in there. So yeah, it's a fun movie. What do you think of this one, huh?
Well, and it's also one where they did a little twist with the casting, and Mike Hall. Anthony Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall shows up as kind of this jocked out like a-hole. I'm like, wow, he grew up. Well, like I don't remember where the transition was. I just remember him being a string bean nerd, and then instantly this jock, like from his previous casting, he's that now. And I really liked it when I first saw it. I the ones I didn't get to rewatch are ones that I've seen a lot. So I didn't bother with Batman or Edward Scissorhands because I've seen these a ton. And for me, I loved the atmosphere with it. I love the bizarre stuff with the hands and the outfit. I mean, the outfit, it's obviously is like, is he even real? Because I don't think he can take the outfit off, because when he goes to school, he's wearing clothes over that outfit. Yeah. He's not wearing clothes, right? They're just covering his black thing. So I'm like, and how real is it? And then of course the Vincent Price cameoing as the creator. And then right as he's going to present him with his hands, he dies. And of course, when Edward tries to grab the hands, he cuts the hands apart. I'm like, that was so sad, you know? And Diane Wiest. Oh, let's talk about Diane Wiest. She is phenomenal. She's so good in this as the mom. But yeah, I enjoyed this tone. I'd love to watch it again for sure. Now that I've plowed through all sort of the ones I don't remember, just to see how it, you know, if I remember it the same way fondly as I did then. But
yeah, I think it's definitely gonna become like a holiday staple for me. I'm just gonna throw it around the holiday times, even though it's more of a, you know, darker and a creepier vibe, but it has those holiday elements in there. So I think it works. All right, let's get on to Batman Returns. And I did not realize this movie came out so far past Batman. I mean, Batman, was 1989? This is 3 years later. So we had that break with Edward Scissorhands. I would have thought, they would be right away on Returns right after Batman.
Yeah, well, back in the day, everything was 3 years apart. That was the Star Wars were 3 years. Like, that was kind of the sweet spot for people to miss it and then want it. You know? Yeah.
It's not like the MCU where it's like 3 months, and then
where there's like four a year. Right. So Batman Returns, a much darker film than the first one, but a lot of and McDonald's still, you know, hurting from the Happy Meals not selling well because of the penguin looking horrific. But I love the casting. So talk about another great casting. You got, you know, Jack is the Joker in the first one. Then how can you do better than Danny DeVito as Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as the lovely, luminous, wicked Catwoman? She was perfect. Now, I know Annette Bening was originally cast, but she got pregnant. So Michelle had to sort of step into the role. So I think, I mean, Annette may have been great too. Who's to know? Because she's a good actress. But Michelle, man, yeah, and I love the dynamic between Catwoman and Batman. That was a great little sexual tension there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good.
You're like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna fight, or are they gonna do something else? You never do.
Yeah, and they got his suit looking a little better. I think the suit looks better in part 2. He actually gets the traditional Batman symbol in part 2, not that weird one that they had in part 1, which was strange. But yeah, I enjoyed Batman Returns, even I'll say a little bit better in hindsight. Like, it's hard to say better than the first one because the first one started it, but then I keep thinking of how many, like, all the scenes that stood out. And I like a lot of scenes in Batman Returns. Like, he can move better, you know, there's more fight scenes. So yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to find out that so many people love Batman Returns even over Batman now. I thought like, 10, 15, you know, whatever years ago, it was definitely Batman 89 was the go-to. But now I feel like Batman Returns is getting a lot of the love. And I'm okay with that. I mean, Batman Returns is a great sequel. It keeps in line the tone of the first one. Yeah, it goes a little bit more darker with more imagery. I mean, Penguin biting the guy's nose and it bursting with blood. Sure, why not? But I didn't think it was too bad. I think the kids could probably still watch it with the family. Why not? A superhero
today
movie.
it's tame.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the casting was great, and then also I always forget his name, but the person that played the Max Shrek character, that other
Oh
villain.
yeah, it's Christopher Walken playing Max Shrek.
So
Batman.
good. He was so good in the movie. I loved
Yeah.
his just villain combination with Pink. So you really got 3 villains in there.
Yeah, you did.
all
Yeah.
of them.
Uh-huh.
But it worked. They all worked together. But Danny DeVito as the Penguin, literally, you talk about perfect casting. Who else could be the Penguin besides Danny DeVito? And then I love how they used the penguins with it too. And I know they used some animatronic ones, but they did have some swimming ones, I guess.
Right.
But the penguins were great. I love stuff like that. Like you're not going to see that these days, Everybody wants everything so serious. You're not going to see
They got rockets on their back. Yeah.
But it was so funny. It was so it worked perfect. I loved it. So great. And they just played into everything with like Catwoman having the 9 lives at the end. I love those.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh god.
And you wanted to see like what I liked is they didn't necessarily kill her, because you see her at the end. And even Penguin is like, was he dead? I mean, he fell over, but maybe I feel like Penguin had some sort of supernatural quality to him.
Yeah.
Because they killed Joker, they killed Penguin. And that was the one thing frustrating about all those movies is like you just kill the villain at the end. So whereas the sequels after that, even though they're not as good as these two, in my opinion, they don't off the villains.
I know, right? I mean, you want to leave the villains around so they can come back. You want more, more of them. But yeah, Batman Returns definitely a worthy sequel, and I would have loved to see what they would have done if they kept going with Tim Burton with a 3rd and 4th one, and all that, but we'll never know.
We'll never know.
All right, now, Huck, I know you love this one. I know, but it's my turn to talk on it first, so I'll go with Ed Wood, right? 1994, an excellent year, I must say. Ed Wood.
Is that when you were born?
Yes. But Ed Wood, this is one you told us about, Huck. I did not know this movie existed till you recommended it out, and I'm so glad I watched this one. It's very different, right? It's a black and white film, but it's still modern because it's in the 90s. But it's about that one director. And what's the director's? Well, it's Ed Wood. He was the director, right? And he made all those bizarre movies, like low budget movies, and he thought he was like the best director of all time. He was so optimistic with all this stuff.
Yeah.
He was just so confident about himself, right? And he makes the Plan 9 from outer space and all that by the end of it. But oh gosh, that one scene you always talk about, Huck, with the guy wrestling the octopus or whatever it is.
Hey, Bella, roll around. He goes, where is the remote? There's no remote, Bella. You're gonna have to wiggle around like it's attacking you. And then he just does it, and they're all like, "Cut! That was amazing." I'm like, wow! And even from the audience, like I saw that in the theater, and when he started doing that, you could hear the audience lose it because it was such a great role. Because he had been pretty calm and mundane up until then, and when he hit that, because his drugs are kicking in and all that, and he just went nuts with the octopus, it was perfect. And that I'm telling you, Mike, and this is not kidding, when I walked out of that movie, I said, man, I think he's going to get the Academy Award this year. If they nominate him, he's going to win. And sure enough, he did. That's how
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that till now. So he won for Ed Wood. Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he was perfect casting, like how he does the voice. I mean, just so good. Yeah, it's a great movie, and a lot of people haven't seen it out there. If you're sleeping on Ed Wood, don't do yourself a favor. Go back and watch it. It's like, a dramedy kind of? There's drama, there's comedy in it. You got Hollywood history with it. It's just so unique and different. But yeah,
and the cast is great. Sarah Jessica Parker's in there. Jeffrey Jones is back from Beetlejuice. Bill Murray. Like it's a cast you don't realize are in it, and they are. Yeah. And it caught me by surprise when I saw that movie, and because I like sort of offbeat stuff. And I remember like when I walked out, I felt like you're in a minority. Like not everyone liked that, and I'm like, how did you not like that? That was so good and different. So. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ed Wood's, man. Don't let black and white and story about it all. In fact, personally, I think it's probably the best chemistry that Depp and Burton have in a film together personally. Like I just love everything, like the performance and the direction and all that. I think when you're pairing the two of them together, I think it's at its peak in Ed Wood.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's not much to complain about in the movie at all. I need to go back and rewatch it again because it was such a great first time watch. Oh, yeah, phenomenal. Let's go to one that's a little bit different, just a little bit, right? We got Mars Attacks, 1996. So, you a fan of this one, Huck?
I like how you threw that back on me. Yeah, I am. Like I like because I like the cheesy that it feels like a B sci-fi horror movie from like the 50s. It's like I love that aspect about it. The flying saucers with the spinny stuff, because I think that's a literal take from the Earth versus the Flying Saucers movie. They look just like that. They spin just like that. So you could see what he was not ripping off. I think paying homage is a better term for it. And the aliens are super strange. The thing is, you've got to be all in on how bad the CGI is with them, but because they're just not
now, right?
Right? Yeah, they're not as dynamic as something you could do today. So that said, I did have to rewatch this one just in case. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I still enjoy it. I love the massive cast. Michael J. Fox, Sarah Jessica Parker's back, Pierce Brosnan, like just
good.
Star-studded cast. Tom Jones, it's not unusual to be. I mean, like, wow. Even
you got Jack Black in there as well. I mean, there's so many characters.
Which I totally forgot. Yeah. And he was good. And then Jack Nicholson playing two roles.
Oh yes. Oh gosh.
As the president.
When I realized that, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's doing so good in both of the roles right now.
What did you think of it?
This movie is amazing. It is so fun. When you just want a fun, entertaining movie, Mars Attacks is the way to go. And I'm okay with the bad CGI. I mean, you got to understand, it's 96. It's the early years of the CGI stuff. So what are you going to expect now? But I think it gives it a charm. Like, it's completely fictional with these weird aliens. And I love the alien designs. They're just so different, but they're creepy in a way. It's like you'd be terrified if these Martians came down and attacked. They got their laser weapons and all that. And when that's going down, it's thrilling. But like you said, great cast. There's funny moments in here. So I don't even know what you call this. I guess a dark comedy in a way.
Sure. A dark sci-fi comedy.
Yeah. But
there's my Mars Attack sign.
Oh, yeah. See, I know. I want to go get some Mars Attacks merch. I know you said it's that Spirit Halloween, right?
Oh, yeah. And just the fact that their whole dialogue is just act, like that's just all they say, but they know what they're saying. And I love they have a sense of humor, like that they're acting like they're nice, and then they just start frying everybody. Like with they're not here at all to communicate and try to be friends.
I know. But it's funny, the humans are like trying to convince them still. Like the doctor's like, I think it's just like a misunderstanding. This is what happened with the pigeon or whatever it was. And they don't learn. It like takes them forever to like really get like, no, these Martians are here to attack. That's what they're here to do. They're gonna take over the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were great. Yeah, Mars Attacks, very fun.
You guys gotta see that. Double features here. Hello, double.
Yeah, there you go. Ed Wood and Mars Attacks. That's all you need. All right, let me jump into the comments real quick. Sorry, audience. I know you guys have been going off on the comments, but let me go ahead and jump into a few of these ones. Apparently, we got a birthday in the house, so happy birthday to Caveman. Yes, very special. Happy birthday, Caveman. Yeah, everybody wishing happy birthday to Caveman, which is awesome. Hope you're having a good one out there. Let's see. We got everybody in here. We got Miss Caveman here in the house as well. Let's see. Tiana saying Batman is such a fun movie. My mom's in here saying we saw a stage performance with Beetlejuice at Universal Studios. I don't think you were there, or I was alive yet. No, I don't think I was. Let's see.
I see that too, Terry. They're so good. The guys that they always have playing Beetlejuice are always on point. They got the character down. Like whoever they cast always has it on point. They're really good.
Cinnamon Man says, "Tell me, did you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" Such a great line. And then how it comes back and you see that he was the one who off the parents, right? That was something that was different than the comics, right?
Yeah, just to make it a movie. Oh, by the way, Cinema Man, I got a package from you today. Can't wait to rip that open.
Let's see. Hisham saying, hello, everyone. Speaking about Tim Burton, if Tim Burton directing MCU superhero movie, what superhero movie is suitable to direct? I don't know. For MCU side of stuff, I don't know. What would you go? Thing? I don't know. A Thing would be in the horror realm, kind of.
Yeah, if you went, because he does like the weird stuff. Thing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. I was going to say maybe something like Wolverine, but I think he's, been done a lot.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think Thing would be actually really good. I like the whole creepy swampness of it.
Okay, man. Who do you think was the best Alfred in any Batman movie or TV series? I'm going with Michael Caine. Michael Caine was a great one. They've all been great, though. Like, I've never seen an Alfred where I'm like, that's a terrible Alfred. They've all been really good. We got double feature in here.
Hello, ladies.
Tiana saying Edward Scissorhands needs a 4K. Absolutely. All of Tim Burton films.
I was just thinking that. There's so many of his stuff I wish, like that and Mars Attacks. Can you imagine that on 4K? Although it would probably make those aliens look like, wow.
Oh, God. Yeah. That is the thing with the 4K. Not very friendly to the old CGI. Yeah. Let's see. Caveman saying Edward Scissorhands' idea for the movie was inspired by a drawing Tim Burton had done when he was a teenager. That's a cool fact. I didn't know. Let's see. Double feature saying Batman and Catwoman had great chemistry in Batman Returns. Darker themed love. Love it. Yep. Very good. We got John Doe Gigolo. We got good
John.
Hello. Let's see. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Caveman saying Ed Wood unhappy with Vincent D'Onofrio's verbal impersonation of Orson Welles. Tim Burton had his voice dubbed with Maurice LaMarche.
Oh yeah. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Caveman. That is also the guy who does the voiceover for Brain in Pinky and the Brain. And if you listen to Pinky and the Brain, it is absolutely Orson Welles that the Brain is that he's doing. So. Yeah, but you know what? That worked though, Caveman, because that was really good. I didn't realize that he did that. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, well, that now all I hear is his voice.
Double feature saying Ed Wood, very underrated. Yep. Mars Attacks is a fun time. Yeah. Mars Attacks.
So I say that.
Let's see. Caveman says Mars Attacks to make the Martian Girl costume as smooth as possible. It had no zipper or buttons on it. Lisa Marie had to be sewn into it. I didn't know that either.
Wait, I gotta go to the bathroom.
You gotta wait about 8 hours.
Like whenever she walked, she would just chew the gum and like do her hands like this, and just now, then maybe Caveman knows. Was she on wheels or something? Because she moved not like feet, like she didn't bob up and down. So I feel like she was on some sort of wheel mechanism. And she just did this like she was walking, but it gave her, because she was always like exactly the same level when she walked. It was a brilliant. If that was her, then she took great movement lessons.
Yeah, was there no like CGI with that at all? Like, was it really?
Not on her. Nope, it was all makeup and wardrobe.
See, I did not know that
until she pulled the head off, and then the skin. Then that was all CGI. But yeah,
because you're right. Like how. The movement, it's like it's so unnatural. It's like you would think.
Yeah, and I watched it again. I watched how she moved, especially when she's in. Speaking of, as Martin Short, as the aide to the president, just being some horn dog, which is hilarious. But when she went to him and then she like walked real quick, she just glid, if that's a word. She glid her way through the room. I'm like, wow. It's like, yeah, I don't know how they did it, but it had to be some sort of like platform with wheels. I feel like.
And we got Michael Hubbard. Hey, Mike and Huck, how you all doing tonight?
Hold on, buddy.
All right, so let's get back into our filmography timeline here. We are now at Sleepy Hollow, 1999. Sleepy Hollow, I just picked up the 4K of this movie, which I highly recommend. The 4K is gorgeous, especially with the fall season in it. But this movie is great. Another role where it's Johnny Depp, right? Johnny Depp's in here.
Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci.
Oh, Christina Ricci is great in the movie. I love the dialogue back and forth between them. But just a good spooky tale for the fall season. You got the Headless Horseman, very creepy. I like the lore behind that. Uh, but yeah, I liked it. I thought it was just a entertaining, thrilling movie. Kind of kept you on your toes, like what's going on with this Headless Horseman. Then you find out who's controlling it. So it's a little twisty in there as well. I just visually, it was stunning to me. And yeah, and you got Huck, you got the 4K too. You got the nice little steelbook.
I got the steelbook. I was like, yeah, they held it for me. I was like, oh yeah, very lucky on that. In fact, that's what I watched. So I watched that just like 3 days ago, and that was like a fresh watch for me because I haven't seen it since it came out. And that's the movie, Mike. When I was talking about how Tim Burton established a tone and an atmosphere of all of his movies, I feel like Sleepy Hollow is the one that really feels like that showcases that Tim Burton quality, just and the look of the sets and the town and the horseman himself. When the horse comes out of that tree, I still don't get how they did that effect. It looks great. And of course, Ray Park is playing the Headless Horseman, so you got Darth Maul as the horseman, and you can tell in his movements when he's swinging the sword. I'm like, oh, that's some Darth Maul. He's fantastic. And then here we go again with some other cast members. Jeffrey Jones is back in that. You got Christopher Lee, who's going to appear in several other Tim Burton things. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was better than I thought. I thought it was going to be low on the list for me, but it was not.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same way, but on rewatch, it's so stunning. Everything's great in that movie.
Yeah, and Miranda Richardson, who I love, she's from British. It's funny, she's a British actor, right? I know her from The Black Adder with Rowan Atkinson, but she was doing an American accent, and then Christina Ricci and everyone else was doing British accents, and they're American. So it's funny that the one Brit is doing a non-Brit accent. Those Brits, they can do anything. So
all right. And then we got a Planet of the Apes 2001. Some Marky Mark action in this one, right, Huck?
Oh yeah. Come on.
So what do you think of Planet of the Apes? I know you're a big fan. You've seen the classic ones, right?
Yes,
I haven't seen the classics, so.
Yeah, you haven't seen them yet?
Not the classics, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, yeah, I mean, they do get a little worse as you go on because they literally just stop giving them money. But the first one, even the second one's pretty great. And there's greatness about many of them. Even Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is the darkest one. It's the Temple of Doom of all the ape movies. But what I love personally, I have this thing, y'all, you may have known, is prosthetic makeup. When actors wear prosthetics and act their asses off in a way, like Tim Curry, we talked about him last night in Legend, Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. I mean, anybody's just all the people from Dick Tracy wearing those prosthetics. I just love that stuff. So when Rick Baker said he heard about this is another thing that I think had a fantastic tone and atmosphere, which I think Burton and the wardrobe and everything put into this well. I couldn't take my eyes off. This is a rewatch for me too. I couldn't take my eyes off of Tim Roth. Tim Roth as Thade was fantastic. Michael Clark Duncan is his soldier ape. Like, I don't know. I really like this movie. I love makeup prosthetics. And when this came out, yes, it doesn't have the same punchy ending that the first one did, but like, you're going to be screwed no matter what you try to come up with, unless you just do the same thing. But it was a little different. Like Helena Bonham Carter as Zira was great, but you also kind of miss sort of like, I know you haven't seen it, but in the original you had Zira and Cornelius. They were a duo. They were like a couple, but they were sort of the ones who they were not doctors, but they were the humanists. Like they studied the humans and wanted them to be treated well, whereas the soldiers and guerrillas always wanted harm to come to them. And that's what she represented in this, but by herself. So yeah, I mean, I watched it again and I still loved it. I liked it quite a bit. So
yeah, anyway. It's been a while since I've seen this one. I remember seeing it in the theaters. Yes, I was alive for this one, but I was a really little kid, so I barely remembered any of it. Besides the ending, I was like, wait, what? What's happening? What is this? But on rewatch, I'm like, the ending's fine. It's whatever. But I love this movie. I love the costumes here. The costumes stood up so well. Much better than if they did like CGI stuff during that time. I love them going with the actual costumes. But the acting was shining through. Social commentary in there was working. And it has everything. It had so many layers in there. It was, playing around with time and space and what happened with Marky Mark, and then you find that reveal at the end, what was going on with that. I love the battle. The battle towards the end is great. Oh, that was so epic. Oh my goodness.
All those bodies flying up in the air. It's like,
oh
man,
that was so cool. Oh gosh, yeah. It was just like, and it came out of nowhere, that explode. You're like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? So yeah, I thought this was so entertaining, right?
Yeah, so many people trash this film, and I specifically watched Mark Wahlberg, and he was great. He had like a spark in his eye. Like people say, he was really, like, his tone changes. Like before he gets to the planet, he's smiling and laughing and playing with his chimpanzee, because that's the one that goes into space. And then when he's trapped on this thing, he's super concerned, and his tone changes, as it should, because he's like, why are these monkeys talking? Like, he just can't.
I'd be terrified. I'd be like, what's
happening? It's just like, doesn't get it. So yeah, and Thade, man, he's such a backstabber, man. Like, his own boys show him the ship, and he kills them because they know that he doesn't want anybody else to know that he's a spaceman. Like he was ruthless, and you could tell too that Tim Roth practiced with that makeup, because he always tilted his head down just a little bit, and he always had his eyes like really poking up like that, and his teeth were always showing. I don't remember a moment when his mouth was closed.
Oh,
because he was always keeping that sort of look of evil going. Loved it. So
yeah, the performances were completely believable to me. Not for a second I'm like, oh no, that's not real. That's someone in a costume or anything like that. No, it was so good, so good. Yeah, I don't know why that one gets hated on so much. It's probably because of the ending. That's probably why.
Did you see that? Remember when the humans are running through all the rooms, and there was that one ape that took off his toupee and his his fake hair, and he put his fake hair down. He took his teeth out. You remember that?
Oh man, I totally missed that part. But
I mean, it's when they're running through all the things, and it's because all the humans are escaping, and the apes are freaking out, and they run through this one guy's room, and that was Rick Baker. Rick Baker gave himself a cameo, and of course he's got a toupee and teeth. Like, he made the most out of his 15 seconds on screen. It was hilarious.
All right, and then we got Big Fish 2003. So this is the one with the Obi-Wan Kenobi actor, right?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was very good in the role. Now, I haven't seen this one in a little while. It's been a couple of years now. But I remember it being, fairly fantastical, right? But I love the ending. I love how it ties back to actually real life. So that's something that stood out to me. But you're going to have to fill in the gaps for me, because my memory is a little shoddy on this one.
Yeah, Big Fish, it's literally the last rewatch I did Sunday morning. And it's a story about it, and it shows Ewan McGregor, his character, in really two different stages. That age, and then when he's older as Albert Finney, that's him in an old age, and Jessica Lange is playing his wife. And he's always known for telling big stories. When guys say, I caught a fish this big, and it's really like this big. So that's where it comes from. It's Big Fish. And he tells these stories, and the son is Billy Crudup, is his son. And he just wants his dad to tell him who he is. He goes, who are you? I don't know you. For my entire life, all you tell me are these big stories. I have no idea who you are. And he just keeps saying, well, if I told you the truth, it would be boring. Who likes that? And so he just loves telling these elaborate stories. And so it sort of becomes a story about the son connecting with the dad. And my wife watched it too. She goes, that was interesting, because you see a lot of mother-daughter stuff. There's not a ton of dad-son things out there. And then I threw Empire Strikes Back out right away. But anyway, so and it's funny how even as the movie is going along with Ewan McGregor and he meets the giant, that was another impressive. He looked 12. I'm like, how is that guy 12 feet tall? There's no way he's that big. And sure enough, he's only 7'11", which is still pretty big. But through camera tricks, just like the Lord of the Rings, where they make Ian McKellen look like a massive wizard, that's what Burton did to make him look like a giant. And of course, Danny DeVito's back. He's the ringleader at the circus. There he's back. And And yeah, I don't know. It really was a nice film. It held up better than I thought. I don't remember liking it much back in the day, but as I rewatched it again, especially with the ending, it probably has, of all the things I've watched, one of the sweetest endings to all of his films. Like, it's the one that I walked away like really touched at the end. So that was yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's what I remember the ending. I remember the emotional connection. So even though I forgot most of the rest of the movie,
Right.
I just remember that ending being so good and how it tied everything together. And you're right. I mean, a perfect movie for like a Father's Day, that type of thing. It's so good. Don't sleep on Big Fish out there, people. I know that's probably one not everybody has seen. It's a good one.
And that's one, Mike, I wish was in our box set. I can't believe it doesn't have other little films like Big Fish or Sleepy Hollow. None of that was in that box.
Yeah. There is a 4K out there, but it's kind of a pricey 4K too. So that's one I debated about. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, nah, can't do it.
No.
Okay. All right. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory here. So you want to start with this one, Huck?
No.
I can start with it if you want. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to see your take on it.
Yeah. Well, so this is my favorite book of all time. I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I've loved it since I was a kid. This is like the book that got me into reading books as a kid.
Great.
I just love all the Roald Dahl collection. Just so whimsical and fantasy-like. But now we get to this movie. Oh my goodness. Why? It's something off about this movie the whole time, especially when you have to now compare it to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which was such a masterpiece, and I love the songs in that one. Here, it feels so soulless. It's something weird with this movie. Like, the Oompa Loompas and the singing in this one don't work at all. Like, they do not work. The songs aren't as charming anymore. The songs are off to me. So anytime the Oompa Loompas are on screen, the singing with them, that part doesn't work at all. I will say this is more accurate to the book. So the stuff they put in the movie is a lot more accurate to the book. I will give it that. But no, this is one where they should probably, changed it from what happened in the book. And then they had all the stuff they put in with the dad and the dentist and all that, which I get what they're trying to do with it, but didn't really work either. And then Johnny Depp in this role, like, I think Johnny Depp has been great in all these other Tim Burton movies.
Yeah.
Like, he seemed like a perfect fit. And this one, I don't know, Willy Wonka isn't really likable in here. He just seems very off and weird, which I know he's supposed to be different and like whimsical, but you should still have a likableness to him. And like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? It's a Gene Hackman. No, not Gene Hackman. What's his name?
Gene Wilder.
There we go. He's a likable character, even though he's a little bizarre. He's still likable. In this one, you're like, I don't know. This person kind of creeping me out. Like, I don't know if you should be going into this factory. This is a little weird. And then the kids were just like, whatever. I don't know. The whole thing. The visuals, very CGI-like. I don't know. I didn't really like too much about this one. What'd you think of it, Huck?
It's funny, Mike. You and I are lining up on almost everything so far. I don't think we've been off, but I'm with you on this too. It's like this is that chemistry that I said was so great in like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood that I don't think meshed well on this one. In Sleepy Hollow, they were so good, but this, like Willy Wonka has sort of like, even his appearance should be sort of whimsical and fun, like the purple that Gene Wilder wore. I mean, there was something sort of approachable about him, but Johnny's was so strange looking. Like what kid would be like, hey, Mr. Wonka? People are like hiding in the corner, like, do I got to go talk to that guy? So yeah, I don't have too much to say on this one because it just, and of course, Deep Roy is playing all the Oompa Loompas. I think you have a problem. Again, he uses Deep Roy's in a lot of his films too. And I like Deep Roy, but it's like when you have a whole bunch of Oompa Loompas acting, you get sort of that interactive charm. But when you have the same person, it's just like clones. It's like there's a different sensibility. I don't know. Maybe in the book, are they all supposed to look exactly the same? Or are they just
No.
Because I don't remember. I read it ages ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean they're all from Oompa Loompa Land.
Yeah,
but it never says that they look exactly the same. So that's why I thought it was such a weird choice to have that copy and paste effect, because you could tell right away it's literally the same person over and over again.
Yeah. So that's all I got for that.
Yeah, definitely no Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. So that was definitely a misstep there. Let's see. We are now on to Corpse Bride. Well, I'll let you take this one, Huck. I know you're a big fan of this one.
So Corpse Bride, yeah, let me jump on that. So I was never a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry to all those who love it. It didn't click with me. But the Corpse Bride, which has a very similar sort of animation, which I do love Burton's animation, though. Even with Nightmare Before Christmas, the animation is great. But this one is one my daughter found and wanted to watch it during Halloween one time. And I'm like, all right. And because I had sort of that attitude going into it because I wasn't a fan of Nightmare. And then as it went on, it kept going and it was good. And I was into it. And the voices were great. And the story was getting good. And then he goes into the dead. It's funny how the dead realm is super colorful, but the live realm is very mute of color. Yeah. And sort of the liveliness and the life is found in the dead area. So that was really spectacular. And I've now seen this film 3 times, and I've liked it every single time I see it, if not more so the next time I see it. And we'll probably watch it again at some point during the holiday season, just because it's kind of become, a staple with my daughter. So as long as she's like, hey, you want to see Corpse Bride? And I'm like, let's go. I like the performances. Again, Christopher Lee, he's in it, doing a voice. Johnny Depp's there. Helena Bonham Carter, I think, is playing the bride, if I'm not mistaken. And just, I really like this film a lot.
That's good. I don't think I'm on the same level with you here.
We found our first
one. That's okay. So this was one I definitely needed to rewatch, because when I saw it as a kid, I remember hating it. I thought it was so boring. I'm like, and I love Nightmare Before Christmas. That's my favorite animated title of all time. So I'm definitely a Nightmare Before Christmas person. But rewatching this, I'm glad I rewatched it. A lot better than I remembered. And I noticed now that part you pointed out where the dead realm is a lot more lively and colorful. So I love when they get into that realm and they're doing all the singing. It's like, this is going to be good. And they start doing all the singing and dancing. Those are the most fun parts of the movie to me. When you are in the real world realm, right? It's a little bit more draggy and just lifeless, kind of sad and somber tone, and but I get the dynamic back and forth. So I understood it more this time around, I guess you could say. So the animation's good here. I mean, Tim Burton, he knows how to work with stop motion animation, so I like all the characters. I'm trying to remember the ending. I literally saw it like a week ago, and I'm almost even forgetting the ending now. So I think he doesn't end up with the Corpse Bride, right? She moves on to something.
So there's this one cheesy guy who's trying to, he wants to marry the girl that is supposed to marry, because he thinks she's wealthy, but she thinks he's wealthy. It kind of ends up screwing. And the reason the Corpse Bride is dead is because of that guy. That guy.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And then so she gets revenge and kills him. And so she's free. She's been freed now. And then she goes up, sort of floats away. And that sort of ends her story. And it also gives Depp's character back to the girl in the living. Yeah,
it's a good ending. Yeah, I like that ending. Yeah. It's a short one too, right? I feel like this was a short movie.
Yeah, it's pretty short. I don't even know if it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, I felt like it was around that time, hour and a half-ish. But yeah, I like it. I like it more than I did before, so I think on rewatches I'll even appreciate it a little bit more. But yeah, it's a solid film for sure. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and go to... All right, I guess I'll speak on this one first, because I feel like Huck is not a fan of this one, at least if I remember the ranking correct here.
But you don't know my ranking.
But I don't, right? I totally don't know your ranking. All right, but anyway, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, definitely a tough tough title to say there, a lot of words. But
Yeah.
I really like this one. It was a first time
Oh,
watch
yeah?
for me. I love musicals. So when you got a musical there, you're already selling me on that. But it's something so different. It's a horror musical, which how often do you see that? Not a lot. I mean, you got, I guess, the Rocky Horror Picture
Rocky
Show
Horror Picture
that I haven't seen. But I mean, other than that, not too many horror musicals. So I was really invested into the story right away. And it's a revenge story. I love revenge stories. You know, I like The Punisher and all that. So to have this guy going back after, I'm trying to remember now. I watched all these movies together. Now my mind is mush on it.
Right. Yeah, I know.
But he's trying to get back at the person that what did he do again? I'm trying to remember. The villain guy he's after. I don't know. But anyway, the music is great here. Tons of bloody goriness throughout the movie, and to see him try to get close, right? To doing I guess he goes kind of almost undercover in a little bit, right? By being the barber to get close to them, and then he can like hack their heads off type of thing, right? I thought that was unique. That was different. That was interesting. But he becomes this well-known barber, right? But then he's offing all these people, so you think he would get a bad reputation sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Why is my Yelp rating so low?
You're like, why is nobody leaving the shop? I don't get it, you know?
I know. I was waiting outside the whole time. Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it just because it was so different. The music was great. Johnny Depp was perfect in the role. This was another role where it's like, okay, yeah, you need Johnny Depp in here. And then that one actress, I always forget her name, but the one who plays Bellatrix Lestrange in the Harry Potter movies.
It's Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, she's very good in it as well. Yeah, so all the acting talents here.
And tons of us. She was in Big Fish, Planet of the Apes. Now here.
Yeah.
Did the voice of Corpse Bride. You know, I love that he has these pool of actors he stays with.
Yeah, a very atmospheric kind of movie. I like the old timing too, and how it feels, and just how the buildings look as you walk through this town and whatnot. So yeah, I really liked it, and I feel like this is one I would go back and rewatch again, definitely. But Huck, I'm guessing not as much.
Well, I mean, it's funny I appreciate your pitch for it, because maybe I need to rewatch it. This is one I didn't get a chance to rewatch it. All I went off of was my initial reaction, and I don't recall it clicking with me back in the day. And so that's, since that was sitting with me, and as time was getting shorter and shorter, it's like, okay, which ones am I going to rewatch? Which, first of all, it was paramount that I watched anything that I had not seen first. So at least I had brand new stuff out of the way. And then I started the rewatches, like Big Fish, Mars Attacks, stuff like that. So yeah, this is not one I didn't get to. So my initial memory of it was not great, but you're pitching a good game on it. So maybe I'll dig it up and see how it holds up. But yeah, for me, going off memory, it didn't. Let's put it this way: when I left, I've never had the desire to watch it again. Like, there's never been a part of me like, I need to put Sweeney Todd back in.
Hey, and that's the telltale sign. If you really like a movie, you're gonna rewatch it. You're gonna have that wantingness of seeing it again. And if it didn't work, then you don't want to rewatch it. So totally understandable. Yeah, it's one that I think people would either love or hate. I don't think there's a lot of in between.
In betweens, yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, Corpse Bride was only 1 hour and 17, so that's probably.
Oh, there you go. I remember it being very short. I'm like, oh, it's a very short movie. All right, let's see. Alice in Wonderland, 2010. All right, Huck, what'd you feel on this one?
And that's one I definitely gave a rewatch to, because I'd seen that before. It actually was pretty good. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's super love and I didn't dislike, but I liked all the visual style to it. I love the Helena Bonham Carter back again as the Queen of Hearts. Up with the heads. She really just owned that so well. And then Alice, the actress playing Alice, was really good. Depp as the Mad Hatter. See, that's where I felt like, because I keep saying sometimes Depp is always trying to outdo himself. So it's like, okay, what crazy thing is he going to pick? But this one, you could kind of do anything you wanted, because the Mad Hatter is a character of fictional fantasy. And just his look with the red hair and the orange eyebrows and all that stuff was fun. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it more than I thought I remembered liking. So I was like, okay, not bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you liked it more than me. I despise this movie.
Yeah.
I did not like it when I watched it when I was younger. I rewatched it. I still did not like it. Nothing in this movie works for me. I think the character designs are way too weird and bizarre. Like,
They are
I
super
expect
weird.
bizarreness from Tim Burton, but like the Queen of Hearts, like what? Like with the head and like
Big head.
like, I don't know. This is a little too weird. Like it didn't feel that weird in the cartoon animated one. Like this
Yeah.
one feels more off. I didn't think Johnny Depp worked as the Mad Hatter. I'm just like, oh, this guy's kind of irritating. And then Alice felt very unlikable to me. Like I'm like,
Oh, really?
I don't know if I'd want to hang out with Alice. She feels just like very, I don't know, like a somber tone. She didn't seem very, I don't know, positive or peppy. I don't know how you want to say it. It just seemed like she was.
Well, it is
grumpy
funny
a little
because
bit. I don't know.
she's from that era where they try to match you up with your mate, and you are going to marry this man, and so it's a little bit of like pro woman, where it's like, I don't want to marry that guy. I want to do what I want to do. So it's that sort of woman power kind of backdrop to it, right? And I think maybe so that's why she's seen, and I don't want to mix this up improperly, but because she was not wanting to be with anybody, it put her in a sour mood a little bit, right? So she had to kind of take that with her into the rabbit hole and all that stuff. But I mean, you're right. The thing is with this film is when it was over, I didn't care. So when I said I was okay with it, I also didn't care when it was over. Like in Anne Hathaway, I will say this too. Anne Hathaway, and she was, I don't know. It's like a lot of that stuff was, it didn't click, which I think is why it was one of my last rewatches, just prior to Big Fish. So
yeah, it was just.
It's kind of low on the list. I'll say that.
Yeah, and
I just lower on yours.
There wasn't much of a character arc for her either. Like I know by the end she was like, "I'm gonna do what I want to do," but she still felt kind of sour in that. By then, I don't know. She felt sour to me the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't get that so much from her. I kind of dug her. I thought she was all right. But yeah, I mean, Helena was great. I think Helena was the thing that stands out. I just looked down. Double Feature said the same thing. Helen makes the film for me. Yeah, I think, although she does have the weird big head, Mike, yes. But
yeah, that threw me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the visuals in here weren't working for me. And then I thought the plot was kind of confusing, especially my first time watching it. I was so confused. I'm like, wait, are they doing the classic Alice in Wonderland story? But no, right? This is like a sequel, right? Because she's going back to Wonderland. I'm still kind of confused by all that, but it is a sequel, right?
That's okay. Wait, it's weird that because in the film they said she was there before,
right? Or no? Or is it the classic Alice in Wonderland?
Well, I think it's supposed to be the classic because the sequel was Alice Through the Looking Glass, and that's.
I don't know because they were playing it like it should have been a sequel. Like, okay, she's been here before.
Yeah.
Let's see if she gets it right now.
And maybe that was just Burton's take to make it a little different.
Yeah.
You got to change things up because everyone's so used to the story. So
I don't know.
Let's move on. If we didn't like that much, let's stop talking about it.
All right. Well, hey, here's one I actually quite like that nobody else likes. I watched Dark Shadows for the first time because before I heard nothing good about this movie. Everybody despised this movie. So I'm like, this is probably terrible. I'm not going to watch it. But I had to watch it for this stream. And I love this movie. It's funny. Like, Johnny Depp is a perfect vampire. Like, you would buy he would be a vampire. And it's just a fish out of water story. I always love fish out of water stories where he's like, modern day now. You got romance in there. Yeah, I'm a sucker for romance. So there's definitely some romance scenes in there.
Yeah.
I was laughing a few times. I thought the comedy worked. And then it was kind of, you almost even had a business aspect to it, right? Because they're trying to, he's trying to get back his family, I guess, reputation of, selling at the port, right? The fish or whatever and all that
cannery,
stuff.
Yeah, the cannery or something. Yeah.
And like doing that stuff where he's like, putting like the evil manipulation spell by looking into their eyes and all that. So they had a fun, whimsical nature too. And there was just funny moments where, like, the maid opens up the closet or whatever, and he's like just sleeping on the towels or whatever it was. Like, those moments would make me laugh. And so I was expecting it was going to be terrible. And so that's probably why I liked it so much, because I'm like, wait, I don't get the hate for this movie. This is at the very least just a silly, funny kind of movie. So I appreciated Dark Shadows for what it was. Not a masterpiece, but it wasn't terrible like everybody was saying. But Huck, it's okay. You can crush this one now.
Or was it?
Go ahead, crush it away.
So here's the thing, Mike. I went into it exactly like you. I'd never seen it. Everyone trashed it. And I'm like, you know what? That's another one I rented because I needed to see it. And I thought it was so close. Like, it was almost there. The cast is great. Michelle Pfeiffer shows up again. And then, of course, Helen is back. Like, the great cast. But I felt like Depp returning as Barnabas Collins was in, like, obviously he's from a different era. So he's going to see things different, fish out of water, like you're saying. But it also, I don't know, I felt so disconnected with his character that I thought this is the chance to really do some like he's a vampire, like, and it's Dark Shadows. And I don't know, I felt like this could have been a really good horror opportunity for Burton to really, like, not make Depp so goofy, but frightening. That's kind of what I was waiting for. But because it was sort of more of that same tone, and I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't clicking for me. Yeah, the hanging upside down, this like made me grin and stuff like that. But I don't know. There was just something. This is another one where I felt like it was a big miss in the chemistry of Burton and Depp. I don't know. Yeah, and he's also so made up. Like, sometimes people have so much makeup on that it clearly looks like makeup. It doesn't look like somebody, like his cheekbones. He already has good cheekbones, but like there's all this ash shadowing on his face. And then it comes down. I'm like, well, I mean, that's not skin. That's not how skin looks. So the part of me was like, the makeup's too much. It's almost like clown makeup on him. So yeah, for me, I don't know. I wanted to like this because I thought everyone's trashing, and for a while I was getting into it, but then it just took a dive for me. It didn't work. Didn't work. Bottom of the list.
No worries.
Yeah.
Let's check out some of the comments here. Sorry, I know a ton of people were jumping in here. Drunk Vigo stopped by. Welcome to the channel. I think that's my first time seeing you in here, so welcome. Let's see, Spicy 4K Action saying, hey everyone, hoping Mars Attacks gets pulled or got pulled. Well, we're running down all of Tim Burton's filmography, so we did talk about that one.
Yeah. And we did enjoy it.
Okay, man said, Big Fish, I love the father-son aspect and really love the ending when the son realizes how his story was pulled together. Yeah, it's the ending. The ending really sells.
Caveman, when he tells the story and his dad says, because he looked in her eyes, so he knew how he died. At least that's the story he tells. And he tells his son, how does it end? How do I go? And then the son starts making up a Big Fish story of how he goes. And that's what got me. Everyone was there. Like, the giant was there, and the one-eyed lady was there. Like, everybody was there because the son really did pay attention and made his last moments, wonderful. I just love that. It was such a good ending.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, an ending for a movie can really, really help it out.
Yeah.
Like Dark Shadows, I don't even remember the ending, so
Dark Shadows going to use that.
Right Wolf says, what is your favorite and least favorite movie that Johnny Depp and Tim Burton have collaborated on together? Well, we're gonna go to our ranking, so we're running down all those.
Yeah, we'll definitely don't jump the gun.
Let's see. Van Gool loved this movie and Meet People. Okay. One on 4K. Let's see. Double feature saying wasn't a fan of 2005's of Charlie and the Chocolate. Yeah, I wasn't a fan either. I don't find many fans of that one. Let's see. Corpse Bride, one of the best.
Right on, Van Gool.
All right, let's see.
I enjoy it.
All right, a lot of great comments in here. Double feature saying the visuals are great in the film. Helen makes the film for me. Let's see. Oh, Double says, love Dark Shadows. To me, Evergreen makes the film. I'm trying to remember who Evergreen was.
Ava Green, she was the bad girl. She was the one who
Oh, yeah.
cursed him in the past, and was taking over the town in the
Yeah.
future.
She was
And-
very good. Yeah.
And Ava Green starts to appear in lots of Tim Burton movies after this.
Yeah, I love the whole cast here. They were all great. I forgot what's her name. The daughter, the one from Kick-Ass. She was really good in the movie.
Oh yeah. Chloe Moretz.
Yeah,
Chloe Grants Moretz.
yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
something like
There you go. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love her. She's fantastic.
that. We got Mama Blu-ray in here. Hello, Mama Blu-ray.
Honey, hugs, girl.
All right, let's see. We are now on to Frankenweenie. So, Huck, what'd you think of Frankenweenie?
Frankenweenie was cute. It's funny because I put that on, and of course it's got a little bit of that Corpse Bride nightmare look to it, Nightmare Before Christmas. And so my daughter was like on the treadmill, and she looks over, she goes, "What are you watching?" Because she likes me. I'm like, Frankenweenie. She's like, "Can you wait till I'm done?" I'm like, paused it, watched another movie. I think that's when I paused it and put in Dark Shadows. But yeah, Frankenweenie was fun. It was a fun, cute movie about a little boy who wants to resurrect his dog. You tell they were all, he was little Frankenstein. He was little Victor Frankenstein, and he brings his dog back and, loves his dog. And that had some heart to it too, as you got to the end of the film, and, a bunch of bullies running around and all that kind of jazz. So it was cute. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one, I didn't like it enough to probably watch it a ton, but it was a cute watch. It was just like a fun, cute watch for me.
Yeah, same for me. I had that same feeling where it's like, I don't know, I wasn't like overly impressed by it where I'm like, yes, got to rewatch this a whole bunch of times. But
Yeah.
it wasn't bad either. It was just like, okay, it's another Frankenstein type of story, but I guess the animated version, one that's for the whole family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the animation in it. I like how they did, the black and white style with the animation. That was all cool. And I even watched the short. I think it was a short film, right? Because it played on after this when I was watching on Disney Plus. The original short of Frankenweenie. Huck, have you seen that original?
I didn't watch the original. I didn't catch that. Yeah.
It's super short. It's like 30 minutes or something. But yeah. Which I don't know. Maybe this one would have worked better shorter too, because I do feel like this one does get drawn out a little bit too much. Because it's such a simple story. I mean, everybody knows the Frankenstein story at this point. So yeah, it was just an okay kind of movie. No complaints about it. Didn't super love it, but it is what it is.
And it was fun to see what happened to everyone else's pet. Everyone latches all their own pets up, and they all become creatures and whatever. So yeah, it's and then you have little Igor in there as well.
Yeah. Oh, Igor is funny. That kid.
Yeah.
All right. So now going on to Big Eyes, and I'll speak on this one here.
What do you think?
First time watch for Big Eyes. I was watching it on streaming. Thank goodness it was available on streaming. I love this one. This one was great. So unexpected. Amazing acting talent once again. What was it? Rachel McAdams? Was that the one, or who was it? I always get
That's Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. I know it's some kind of Adams, right?
And Christoph Waltz.
Oh, Christoph. Yes, he was a great character in here.
Yeah.
Well, at first you didn't know he was going to be the villain, right?
I know.
He's like just this artist, and they're in San Francisco, and he's selling his paintings, and he meets up with the main actress there. And I guess they fall in love and all that. And you think it's going to be a real nice, sweet, romantic story. But then these secrets get revealed, right? That this guy really isn't an artist at all.
Yeah, he didn't even go to Paris.
I know, he's just using her, and then because her paintings are so, I guess, beloved, right? Or they're gaining steam. People see them at the club or the restaurant or whatever it is, and people want them because of the big eyes. I can totally relate. The pops, it's the big eyes. The big eyes will sell something. I'm telling you.
You should have some paintings.
I know, right? I thought those paintings looked awesome too. I'm like, those are kind of cool. So yeah. But yeah, it was just a really interesting story. But I was kind of getting mad too. I'm like, oh, she's like keeping it a secret for so long. Like, how can you do this, and all this stuff? And he's like, oh, you have to, it's we have to keep this illusion or whatever it is, right? And even the kid knows. The kid like knows that he didn't do the paintings and all that, and she's even trying to keep it. From her own kid and all that. So a very dark story. You see all these, relationship issues come up, and once again, it just starts to unravel by the end of it. But then the ending is kind of interesting too. It comes like a courtroom drama for a little bit, right? So that was really different and unique. And then by the end, I liked how it ended too. It does end on, I guess, a more positive note in there. But it was just so unique and different. So this one caught me by surprise. I really liked it. Huck, what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, this was a first time watch for me too, and it's funny because I had the same issue with her character. Is I'm like, just say something. It was really irritating me that she was so like, even when people are like, who painted these, and they're looking right at her, I'm like, say it. And then she wouldn't say it, and look, and then she puts herself into it as well. Like for a while, he's not really the villain. He's just the extrovert. He knows how to sell. And if you remember, when someone first asked about the painting, he said it's his wife's. He tells the other art gallery guy it's his wife's paintings. And he goes, well, we're not hanging up women's paintings in here. So the only person that knew, and mind you, that never came back around. That guy should have ratted him out. It's almost like they forgot about that story plot being totally obvious and revealed early on. And like, if that guy hated him so much, he should have ratted him out. But I think they just kind of missed that opportunity. But yeah, so when it happened a second time, he just took the credit for it so he can make the sale for her. And he tells her that. He says, I'm sorry, I did it for you. Look, you made a sale. Mine didn't even sell. So for a moment there, he's still the good guy, and she's like gives in. And then the scale, that's when it gets bad. And then it just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and he's taking the credit way too quickly, and then you realize, oh, this is not going to end well. But
and totally a snowball effect type of movie, right? You just give an inch and then goes a mile. And
so I was happy it did a little turnaround at the end, because I was getting frustrated. But it's funny because I feel like there's only two movies, and I call them normal movies, like where it's just kind of like acting story based stuff. Although Big Fish does have sort of that Tim Burton touch sometimes with when he's telling the stories, and it's all shot with fantastic color. And this one feels like a pure drama film, and the only thing that makes it strange are the paintings having big eyes, something unique and different. Of course, Tim Burton would pick something with big eyes as the story plot, but in reality, it's just a really strong, good drama, and it kind of made me think, man, I want a few more of those from Tim Burton. That's my takeaway from all of this. Is I wish he'd just do a couple more like that, because I was loving these.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so I like this a lot too.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that till you just said it, Huck. Yeah, totally no fantasy elements at all in here. There's no like magicalness to all of it. It's just a good drama, character study story about relationships. Fantastic. And so good, so good. Yeah, if you love dramas out there, people, you got to watch Big Eyes. And it's streaming anyway.
Yeah, I caught that.
All right, so now we get into Miss Pettigreens Home for Peculiar Children. So Huck, what did you think of this one?
All right, so this is Ava Green is back as the lead now, so Tim Burton loving her. And it's just, I found this, I had never seen this before, so this was on my list of must watch. And by the way, I streamed this on Disney Plus, and look, I know there's controversy out there that 4K on streaming doesn't work. Of everything I watched, this looked the best. It was crisp. It was deep and just sharp. It looked fantastic. So out of the gate, I was like, wow, this thing looks amazing on Disney Plus. So there's a little, nod to Disney Plus for at least streaming nicely. I love this movie. This movie was such a piece of fantasy I didn't see coming. You get a lot of this stuff with X-Men, school with gifted children and all that stuff. But so it had a little bit of that because there's people with powers, but it didn't beat you over the head with it. And they weren't using it in such a way that it felt like superpowers. It just felt like that's their gift. And occasionally it becomes useful. right? Without being like put on a cape and go fight crime. And the whole time loop thing, if no one has seen this film, I really want to recommend this film. Of all the Burton films I've seen, most people have seen the popular ones. If you have not seen this, you've got to see this film, in my opinion. So, all these people, this Peregrine's children, they're stuck in this time loop that keeps them timeless. And this one boy finds them. And I don't know how much I want to get into the story, because this is one that's got a lot of plot twists to it. But who's the lead kid in that? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I'm terrible.
Oh, wait, is it the kid from Hugo? I think it's the kid from Hugo, isn't it?
I haven't seen Hugo, so I don't know.
You didn't see Hugo yet. Asa Butterfield, I think. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So, what is your take on this? I'm going to look that up real quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a big superhero genre fan. So, I almost kind of want to call it a superhero film, but then it's mixed with like a horror movie, but then it's also a family movie. So, if I got this on physical media, I don't know where I would put it. I don't know what shelf it would go on to. That I would have to think. I mean, it could be sci-fi too, with the time elements at play and all that. So, very bizarre kind of movie. But I loved all the powers in there. I thought the powers were unique and different. They're not like your typical superhero powers, right? There was some, a kid that would shoot like bees out, one that would float away, and all those ones, the twins in there. I mean, so there were some really unique kind of power sets in here, but not used a ton, like you said, just when they needed to. But then it gets very horrific, right? And the villains in there, right? Very creepy looking, right? Samuel L. Jackson's in there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, he plays a good villain in there. It's this plot, though, that is still very confusing to me. I still got to watch it again because I'm trying to picture the ending in my head. I'm like, wait, how did it end again? So I like the beginning for sure. It kind of loses me along the way by the end of it.
Oh, really?
I just love all the fantasy elements. So it's a little confusing. When time gets thrown into the movies, Huck.
I know, yeah. Well, and they got these creatures too. These creatures that came out of time, and they're killing people and stuff like that too. That Sam Jackson's a part of, and and there's characters who are not the characters they look like. I don't know. I was just loving this film, like start to finish. I thought, wow, when it was over, I'm like, God, that was really good. I didn't, that was my of all the Burtons that I haven't seen. That was my pleasant surprise. I mean, Big Eyes was great too, but that was also great.
And it's a movie like I really want to love because, like I said, it has the power elements in there. It has the elements, and I really want to love it, but it just doesn't get there for me. I'm like, I like the premise, I think, more than the ending execution of the film. But I love the premise. Like, if you just pitched this movie to me, I'd be like, yes, I'm sold. All right, let's go ahead and head over to our last one we're going to be talking about. Wow, has it really been that long since a Tim Burton film? Dumbo 2019 here. All right, I guess I'll speak on this one here. So, you know what? I don't really remember the animated Dumbo movie. I haven't seen that one since I was a very young kid, so I don't have that one to compare it to. But I actually don't mind the first half of this movie. The first half is decent. There's a really great cast in here. You got Danny DeVito back again, right? Doing all the circus stuff. You have Colin Farrell, right? Missing an arm. He's the dad. He's really good in the movie. The kids do a decent job. I like the way Dumbo looks too. Like Dumbo
looked really good.
Years, we got very good CGI work there. So I did like the first half. It kind of was drawing me into the film. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. But it loses me in the second half a little bit because I wonder. I'm like, why aren't they rescuing the mom yet? Like, because they find out where the mom is fairly quickly, but then like it takes forever for them to actually get to the ending. And so I don't know. The second half is a little wonky to me once they go to that land area and all that. But the first half is decent. But don't love it. I don't love this one. But that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know. This one's a weird for me. It's like a tale of two movies in one. Huck, how do you feel on this one?
I was pretty good with Dumbo. I didn't. It's one that just slipped by me. Didn't think anything of it. Kept it kind of low on my radar. And I was entertained by it. I enjoyed the performances from everybody. Michael Keaton is back. So it's like, there we go again. A lot of its familiars. Ava Green is in here as well. So yeah, and I like the way Dumbo looked. I was really charming. There was a lot of emotion in Dumbo's face, which I appreciate. In fact, it's funny because I felt like the eyes felt like Dumbo's eyes from the animated movie, from what I recall. It's been forever since I've seen it, but I do remember the face on Dumbo. And yeah, I know what you mean about not getting the mom right away, but also like conditions were not letting them get the mom because they had to do certain things to get the mom until they just decided to take matters in their own hands, like people do. And you know, and I thought it had a big splashy ending, and yeah, it was a good time. There was another one of those where when it was over, I was like, that was good. That was a good movie. Great.
All right.
Not bad, but it was a good movie.
Right in the middle, yeah. All right, so that's the entire filmography there. We're gonna then get into our individual rank. Yeah, that was the last one, right? We haven't gotten a film since 2019 from Tim Burton, right? I mean,
crazy.
Handful of years, yeah. But we're gonna get into our individual rankings here with me and Huck. We're gonna run through those, and then we'll do our Collectors Club ranking. And don't worry, audience, we'll jump into the comments right now. But before we get to the rankings, Huck, do you feel like maybe predicting the top 5 of the Collectors Club rankings?
Oh, that's a fun.
Just to put you on the spot just a little bit. What do you think's going to be the top 5? With, of course, all of our scores. You know, you got Tim and Derek's thrown in there as well. What do you think's going to be the top 5?
Well, I definitely think it's easy to predict that at least 3 of them is going to be Beetlejuice, the first Batman. With the other guys in there, maybe Edward Scissorhands in the top 3. Probably the other Batman as well. And then what would round it out? Yeah, see, because then I think everything starts to do this. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot more because Derek likes kind of weird and dark, and maybe it's Sleepy Hollow is 5. I don't personally. That's not where I would put it, but trying to figure out the group, maybe that.
All right. Well, we're gonna see how you did, Huck, in a little bit. Let's jump into the comments real quick.
Okay.
Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we got. Oh, everybody's saying hello to each other. That's awesome. Caveman saying, 1990s Burton commissioned Keane to paint a portrait of his then girlfriend Lisa Marie. Keane has also painted portraits of Burton's current girlfriend Helen Bonham Carter and his late Chihuahua. I didn't know that.
Is he still with Helena? That's what I wasn't sure about, because I thought they got married actually too. Is he still with Helena?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You'll have to let us know, Caveman.
Got to get that gossip going.
All right, let's see. Caveman saying, don't you wish that would have made you feel 12 instead of 66? All right, let's see. We got everybody just talking in here. We got Double Feature saying the book was great. I enjoyed the film. Again, love everything.
Yeah, she's so good in so many of these.
We got Chubbs Loves Movies. What's up, everybody? Well, Chubbs. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of new people into my channel here for the first time. Thank you all for being here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, click that subscribe, hit those notification bells, because if you love streams like this, we're streaming all the time on this channel, along with a lot of awesome other physical media and movie content throughout the entire week. It never stops on this channel. So once again, audience, thank you for being here, and just take a half second to click that like, right? Batarang that like real quick.
Do it.
It's gonna help out the channel so much. Gotta appease the YouTube algorithm, so. All right, let's go into now our individual rankings. So Huck, you got your ranking ready?
I do. Do we want to do the other guys first in honor of them?
Okay, yeah. Huck, do you have them?
Huh?
Do you have them up? Oh, wait, you don't have the rankings.
They sent it to you.
The rankings. I do.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Oh.
You'll have to tell us.
I will have to. So, Huck, do you want to start with yours while I find theirs?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You know what, Mike? I'm going to go ahead and start with mine. I changed my mind. All right. And I'm going to go from bottom to top. All right. So at number 19, I know you loved it, but Dark Shadows was bottom for me. And then Sweeney Todd and Frankenweenie would be at 17. Crawling up, Charlie and Chocolate Factory at 16. Then I'll put Alice in Wonderland at 15. So those are my bottom ones there. Then we'll go Big Fish at 14 and Big Eyes at 13. So we got the bigs back to back. And then Dumbo, because I had a pretty good time with Dumbo. Colin Farrell was really good. Then Sleepy Hollow, because it ended up being better than I thought. I was feeling it was going to be lower, but got it at number 11. And then my top 10, starting with Mars Attacks, number 9, Corpse Bride, 8, Edward Scissorhands, 7 was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then we're going to go 6 with the first Batman. And because I loved it that much, number 5 is Miss Peregrine's School of Gifted Children. Number 4 is Planet of the Apes. I'll go to the grave with my love for Planet of the Apes. Number 3 is Batman Returns. 2 is Ed Wood. And number 1, it's the most rewatchable, in my opinion, of all of his films, and that is Beetlejuice.
Oh, man. Such a great ranking right there, too. And the Peculiar Children one, that got way high up on your list. I wasn't expecting that. So that was awesome.
It really did. I was like, when it was all said and done, I told myself, Mike, I go, no matter what my list is, I've got to have it in the top 5. Even if it's number 5, whatever it takes, it will be at number 5. That's how much I like that film. Like, that's one I would love to get on 4K.
Oh, yeah. They should get a 4K release of that one. Absolutely. All right, let me run through Derek's list here. We got, let's start at the bottom. But you know what, Derek, you need to go see, take Huck's advice, Miss Peregrine's, Peculiar Children. That was the one he did not see. That was the only one he did not see.
Okay, so Derek, seen it, put it at the very bottom?
Yeah, so not on the list. That one is not on the list. Yeah. But let's start at then 18 for Derek. We got Dark Shadows. Like I said, Dark Shadows, not very low.
We're in the same boat.
17, Alice in Wonderland. We got 16, Big Eyes. 15, Dumbo. 14, Corpse Bride. 13, Frankenweenie. 12, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. 11, Mars Attacks. All right, we're in the top 10 for Derek now. Got Sweeney Todd. 9, Planet of the Apes. 8, Batman. I'm surprised Batman was this low on Derek's list. 7, Batman Returns. 6, Edward Scissorhands. 5, Sleepy Hollow. 4, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. 3, Big Fish, getting some love here. 2, Beetlejuice. And number 1 shocked me, Ed Wood. Ed Wood was Derek's favorite right there. You got to appreciate that, Huck.
Team top 2. Flip them around. Look at there.
All right, so now let me go ahead and bring up Tim's list here. Now, Tim didn't get to all the movies, so this is going to be a list of 9 here. So starting at the bottom of 9, yeah. So starting at the bottom, number 9 was Edward Scissorhands. 8 was Sweeney Todd. 7, Big Fish. 6, Mars Attacks. 5, Ed Wood. 4, Sleepy Hollow. 3, Beetlejuice. 2, Batman Returns, and number 1, Batman 89, which surprised me because I know Tim isn't usually, a fan of the modern superhero stuff, but hey, the superhero film's getting some love on this list, so that's awesome. Rocking the Batman right there. That's how we do it.
I think Batmans are going to do very well. I'm positive of that.
Yes. You had a good prediction with that. All right, let's get into my list. Of course, Batman.
Yeah, let's hear what you got.
Well on this one here. All right, let's bring this up right here. Okay, starting at the bottom, right? So this is 19. Alice in Wonderland. Like I said, I don't like this movie at all. I don't think it's good. 18, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Once again, don't think this one is good at all. 17, Dumbo, which I'm going to lean towards not good either. Let's go 16. We got Corpse Bride. No, I will say now we're getting to the films that are pretty decent. Okay, so 16 we got Corpse Bride, 15 Frankenweenie, 14 The Peculiar Children, 13 Big Fish, 12 Planet of the Apes, 11 Dark Shadows. Like I said, I really love Dark Shadows. My first time watch. 10 is Ed Wood, which was way lower than you all. 9 Pee-wee's Big Adventure. 8, Big Eyes. Like I said, I really like Big Eyes. 7, Sleepy Hollow. 6, Sweeney Todd. I really like Sweeney Todd. 5, Mars Attacks. 4, Edward Scissorhands. 3, Beetlejuice, 2, Batman Returns, and of course, number 1, Batman. No surprise there. Big superhero fan, of course. Did my list shock you, Huck, a little bit?
No, not too much. I was bummed to see some of the things kind of low. Like the fact that you had Corpse Bride under Frankenweenie was a little interesting. But I will say, I'm not sure what the top 5 is, but I feel like I nailed 4 out of the 5. I'm not sure.
I feel like you did good too, but we're going to run through. Let's see these last few comments here. We got, hey, Steve is in here. Excelsior movie review.
Hey,
I'm with Mockbuster from our Criterion late June pregame show. Ed Wood would be an interesting addition to the Criterion collection. I know we've brought that one up before. That would be a great Criterion title. Let's see. Cinema Man says Beetlejuice be my number 1. Also fun films. Go ahead. Make my millennium. All right. Caveman saying Wednesday, 2022. And of course, Beetlejuice 2 in 2024, unless it gets pushed. And we're going to talk about Beetlejuice 2 as our last question, actually. So we'll get to that. We got to hear Huck's thoughts on that sequel just a little bit. All right, let's get to first, though, our Collectors Club ranking. So we're now into our Collectors Club ranking. And now this is the definitive list because you have all the collectors that came together in this group to give us these scores. So 19 with, I didn't need no calculator on this one because it only got 8 points. So 19th place, we got Alice in Wonderland. Very low on most people's list. All right, next up, another very low one with 11 points. 18th place, Dark Shadows. I think it only got points for me, really.
I know. You're the only one.
That's the only reason why it's not the bottom. All right, let's see. 17th place, not a surprise here. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with 13 points.
This is feeling accurate so far.
Yep, feeling accurate. 16th place, Frankenweenie, 14 points. Very close to these bottom scores here. All right, 15th place, Dumbo, 15 points. Coincidental, yes. All right, we got 14th place, Corpse Bride, 20 points. Number 14. All right, now Huck's kind of new favorite here. Only got 13th place, yes. Home for Peculiar Children, 21 points. But now we're kind of in, we're in the 20s now. So these are some big jump up some points. Once we go from Dumbo to Corpse Bride, now we're getting into the 20s here. So 12th place, we got Big Eyes, which I was super happy with.
All right, I'll take that.
Points. I think it got a lot of points from me.
Yeah.
And then 11th place, which I was almost shocked at, just because I know a lot of people talk great about Sweeney Todd, but after seeing everybody else's rankings, and then I'm like, okay, I get it. The spot makes sense. All right, and then now we're getting into some big jump up in points. Now we're getting into the 30s here, so we're going to go top 10 here. So 10th place, got Big Fish, 32 points. There you go, pretty good. And then, Huck, you'll be happy with this one, and I'm happy with it too. 9th place, we got Planet of the Apes. Finally getting some love. I know, top 9th place. There you go, 34 points. That's so very good. All right, 8th place, we got Mars Attacks with 37 points. Very solid.
That. Yeah. Let's see. It's almost exactly where I had it.
I know, you did good, Huck. I'll say that. Yeah. 7th place, we got Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 39 points.
Woo, look at that. That's exactly what I had.
I think you pretty much got all these if I'm remembering correctly. So now actually we have a tie coming up. 6th and 5th place have tied. So I give you an impossible question, Huck. You were going to fail about it up because there was
or I had a bonus one I could have used.
Exactly. There we go. But 6th and 5th place, however you want to say it, Sleepy Hollow, 42 points. Yep.
With
Edward Scissorhands. There you go.
All right.
And then I know you'll be happy with this placement, Huck. 4th place, Ed Wood, 51 points.
Look at that, y'all.
I was shocked by it. I like Ed Wood, but you guys love Ed Wood.
Black and white drama. It's just
all right. Oh, okay.
Old Hollywood, it's old Hollywood. Love that stuff.
All right, Huck. Now we're in the top 3. We know what the top 3 are. What was your top 3 again?
Well, I said it was going to be probably, Beetlejuice, Batman, and Batman Returns. Which order? You know what? I mean, maybe it'll just be number 3 is Batman Returns, then Batman, then Beetlejuice. That's what I think, unless somehow Batman wins.
All right, so let's take a look at it now. Third place, we get Batman 1989, 53 points, which I was shocked by. I thought Batman was a shoo-in for first place. So I did not choose the correct shirt, unfortunately. We got second place here, though, with Batman Returns, 55 points. I was shocked by that, though. I was shocked because, once again, I always thought 89 got more love, but Returns is making a comeback. And then, it's showtime at that point with Beetlejuice, 60 points.
Showtime. Right on. There you go.
Beetlejuice, the number one Tim Burton film. Shouldn't have been surprised by that one, but that's great. So
nice and rewatchable. Although maybe I don't know if you know why, but so this film, it's number one to us. It is beloved by the community. People often talk great about Beetlejuice. There's not many I know that don't like it. I know one or two, but why does that movie still have no bonus features? Yeah. And I don't count cartoon episodes, a bonus feature. In fact, I waited, and I've never owned it on Blu-ray. I kept waiting and waiting for the 4K, thinking, okay, when they do that, I'm sure they're going to put something on there. And it's just, there's no making of, there's no nothing. And here it is, the number one, probably this and Batman are probably Tim Burton's two most iconic, famous films. And you get lots of stuff on Batman, but nothing on Beetlejuice. And I'm still stunned by that. And now that we've hit 4K, there's nothing out. They're not going to re-release it. So there's
we're not getting anything unless somehow it got licensed out to a boutique label that really took the extra step to go out and get something. That's the only way I could see it, but very unlikely. But you're right. I mean, you could get so many great interviews in here, so many amazing cast members. You can't tell me that not one of them would come back.
Oh, yeah. And now they're making a part two.
Exactly.
And watch. Part two will come out, and it'll be loaded with stuff. I'm like,
I know, right?
Really? Wow.
All right. Well, we're just talking about Beetlejuice 2, just mentioning it. So might as well give our quick thoughts on this. Have you thought a lot about Beetlejuice 2, Huck? Are you ready for this?
No, I haven't given it much thought. However, I am totally excited for it. I mean, obviously, Keaton's a lot older now, but I'm sure he's got the chops. And who's playing his wife? I forget who they mentioned, but it was a good actress. When I heard her name, I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. But look, when you got Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega as her daughter, I'm all in. Oh, yeah. And is Catherine O'Hara and some of the other cast members in it as well? I want to say Catherine O'Hara's name was on.
I feel like I heard Catherine O'Hara's name. Yeah.
So not knowing plot or anything, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do with it, see if Gina Davis makes a cameo. I mean, yeah, let's go. I think it's about 35 years past its due date, but then again, Top Gun Maverick came out 36 years later and did well. So let's just wait and see.
And this is a movie, if they market it right, I think this can be a massive hit. I mean, we just showed it was number one out of the Tim Burton filmography. There's obviously a fan base for it. Could this be the next Top Gun Maverick level? I mean, people want something, that's different but familiar. I think Beetlejuice 2 can be in that wheelhouse. You have all that acting talent. Like I said, you said Jenna Ortega, right? That can sell a movie alone, but you put all the other actors in there. Michael Keaton back in that iconic role. I mean, this has all the ingredients to be really something special. So if they make a good movie out of this, which you got Tim Burton, the same visionary behind this one, I don't see why this can't be a massive hit. I think this movie is going to do great. If they put it during the right time, please put it during close to spooky season. You got to do it during. Don't put it in a weird time. Hopefully they don't do that. But
and also please keep those beautiful practical effects. Keep the makeup. Keep that tactile sensibility of practical makeup and effects. If you need a little CGI help here and there, cool. But he's so good at visual things and practical things that would just destroy me if this is a CGI fest. I would be. That's not what Beetlejuice is. I even I did the demo reel, if you will, of the makeup guy, Robert Short, who he won the Academy Award for this movie. and he was in the place where I worked doing a demo reel. I'm like, you won an Academy Award. Why am I doing your demo reel? He goes, you'd be surprised. I mean, we still have to fight for every job that comes out. I'm like, well. He also, by the way, Mike, you'll like this. He also designed the Flash costume for the 1991 TV show.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So, yeah. I'm like, can I have one of those? I didn't get one.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they got to use those great practical effects. And there's so much potential, too, because of the lore of this movie, they can really dive into a lot, going more into the dead realm, more into the manual, like what's going on with that, because they only really kind of go very surface level on some of those things in the first movie, so there's a lot to unpack there. This could be great. This is something I'm very excited for. I know people were excited for Barbie and Oppenheimer. No, I want some Beetlejuice too. This is where it's at. So
I think you nailed it too, Mike. I think the moviegoers, they're just starved for new stuff, and comedies are that new stuff.
Yeah.
Like Barbie showed us, we want to laugh. And if this is funny, we're going to want to laugh. So,
and it's a 4-quadrant film. It's going to appeal to everybody, right? Because you got the spooky stuff in there, got the comedy in there, you got the old generation. You can get the new generation with Jenna Ortega, the family film in there. I mean, it just has everything to really sell. So if they can't sell people on this movie, I don't know what they can sell people on. So hopefully it does well.
And Wednesday was huge. So that baby boomer that loves Wednesday, and they're big, they're going to see her and I think probably resemble Wednesday a little bit because she's got that dark, moody look to her.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's going to be a very generational thing. Like I can see parents taking their kids like they did with, Top Gun Maverick or Mario. It's going to have that same effect. Bringing the whole family out to sell those tickets, that gets you more box office. So
let's go.
I know. We're hyping it up now. I'm going to feel so terrible if it makes like 40 million.
Right. It's not our fault.
Oh, man.
No, we tried.
Yeah, we tried for you, Tim Burton. We tried on this one. So, all right. Well, there we go. That's pretty much everything I wanted to run through here. We'll definitely give everybody a chance to kind of, promote anything they want coming up on their channel. And Huck, you were so on the money with that ranking and your predictions of the top 5 and all that, by the way. Like,
not bad.
I know. Nothing surprised you, on that right there. It's just like you were right on it with the top 5. So good job to you. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So, Huck, well, what do you want to let the people know? What's cooking up at the Huck's Pop Culture Cafe? What can we expect?
Well, just, if you haven't been, just stop by tomorrow morning. We got the morning mug. We're going to be talking. I'm going to do a little, I've had to work so much today. I know the writer's strike sort of finally, loosened up. So I'm going to look into that. And if it's worth talking about now, we'll go there. If it's still sort of like, well, it hasn't quite been nailed down, but we'll see, you guys. So tune in tomorrow. I don't know what else. I just dropped a toy video today. I don't often do those. I had a big old toy thing show up. I got another top 5 duos already done and made and ready to drop on. It's either Thursday or Friday. So play along with that if you want, Mike. And that's about it for now.
Awesome.
And next month I need to start playing. I'll put this out into the universe. I need to do a scary horror trivia night. I always do one for the spooky season. So anybody that wants to play, I'm looking for fresh faces. If there are any out there that want to play, and then if I don't hear any fresh faces, then I'll start grabbing people like Mike or whoever wants to play it. And I'm going to pick a date. I'll put it on my Instagram. Go to my Instagram, follow me there and all that jazz. And I'm going to put up the date it's going to appear, because the hardest thing is trying to find a date for everybody. So it's going to live on a certain date. And if you're good with that date, give me your name and we'll get you on the show.
I'm excited for that. Just to see the trivia. I've been missing some trivia in my life just watching it. You do such a great job with that, Huck.
All right.
Production value is amazing. So I'm ready to see some trivia here.
Nice.
But yeah, tons of great stuff. We just had a Collectors Club episode yesterday. If you missed that, definitely go to Convicted Files channel. Derek, go ahead and watch that replay. Cult classics. It was a great time. A lot of great collecting videos in there. It was totally such a blast. So you got to check that out. For my channel, you guys know there's always stuff coming out every day. So I'll show you the overlays so you can kind of get teased for
Check
the
it
week.
out.
Now, if you missed this morning, of course, we dropped the Amazon deal video. So if you
I
want
saw
to
that.
save yourself some money while you collect physical media, I mean, why pay more for the same movies? Check out the video. Lots of great stuff on sale. They got Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Lost Boys, Poltergeist, so many more, and a few little surprises in there. So definitely check that out. Then tomorrow, Tuesday is usually one of my rant video days, right? So I'll just tease you with this one, and you guys can, see what this one's going to be about. So yeah, if you love Lionsgate, you're gonna like this one. So Lionsgate, other studios, yeah. This is gonna be a fun little one. You'll kind of get what it is when I go into the video once you click on it. And then we got to talk about the October preview. That's coming out on Wednesday. So I run down all the titles coming out for physical media in October, give you my thoughts, my recommendations on ones, maybe what ones you should wait for on a sale. So definitely check the October preview out. And of course, we get into mega movie numbers on Thursday, talking about the hottest 4Ks being sold, comparing all the different disc formats, see how well they're selling, all that great stuff. And then out of theater reactions for this weekend. This weekend is going to be hot at the movie theaters, right? Because we got The Creator, we got Saw X, we got Dumb Money, wide release. I mean, I'm going to be living at the movie theaters pretty much this weekend. Not like I already do or anything like that. But yeah, lots of out of theater reactions, and then hopefully a Sunday movie morning news show and all that great stuff. So jam-packed week, tons of great stuff. Make sure you sub the Huck, of course. His link is in the description below. Yeah, all the other Collector Club members, their links are in the description below. Definitely show their channel some love. And most importantly, not just going to subscribe. That's great. But take it to that next level and watch the content. Yes, watch the content. It's so important. Appease the YouTube algorithm there. Hit the like buttons if you're watching this on the replay. Leave comments on the replay too. I always get back to comments pretty quickly. And then we can keep this Tim Burton conversation going. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Beetlejuice 2 out there. What would be your Tim Burton rankings? You go ahead, throw that down in the comments below.
Let's hear them.
Yeah, I would
At least your top 5 or top 10. If you don't have them all, just let us know your top.
Yeah, whatever you got. That way we can kind of look at them, have some fun movie discussions. But that is all we have tonight. And thank you, audience, for being here and interacting with us and enjoying the show. But have a good night out there and go watch some movies, right? Make it a movie day.
Good night, everybody.